course, they saw a city in full decay, but they also saw really a do-it-yourself spirit of people who are really trying to rebuild the city they love.
From the third floor studio, offering a commanding view of the University District neighborhood, this is an interview edition of Your Daily Detroit. It's Wednesday, May 15th, 2019. I'm Sven Gustafson.
And I'm Jer Stays. On today's show, Sven talks to two members of the Motown Movement. That's the organization founded by architecture students from the Netherlands that bought an abandoned house in Detroit for $1,000. Now they're fixing it up to become a showcase for how Detroiters can live more sustainably on the cheap.
That's coming up right after this.
Daily Detroit is brought to you in part by Overworld, a quick and casual strategy board game that looks like a retro video game and comes in a super portable package. Design your own fantasy world with jigsaw puzzle pieces. Check out the video and get your copy at overworldboardgame.com.
All right, joining us in studio from the Motown Movement are two of its members, Casper van Alfen, who runs PR and marketing communications, and Joanna van der Leun, who is the sustainable concept developer. Joanna and Casper, welcome to Detroit.
Thank you.
Yeah, and welcome to Daily Detroit, I should say. So let's start off. I mean, for those of you who aren't familiar, I hadn't heard of you guys before, but I know you've been doing this for a couple of years. Who are you guys? Who is Motown Movement, and how did you land here in Detroit?
Yeah, so the Motown Movement has been around for, you said, like 2.5 years now. And we're a non-profit organization who is fighting climate change by making sustainable housing accessible for lower and middle-class people. Mm-hmm. So we're developing and implementing low-budget, low-tech sustainable techniques to lower energy bills, basically.
But who are you guys? I mean, you came from the Netherlands and you landed here in Detroit. I mean, so give us your background.
Yeah, so we're not the original, the founders of this non-profit organization. There were three guys from the Netherlands as well, called Bob, Ronan, and Dominic.
And they're still involved?
They are still involved. They're not, we're the executive board, so we are making all the decisions now, and they passed it on to us. So they did a research on declining cities over the world, and then they went to Detroit because that's probably one of the best examples of declining cities.
Yay! What a badge of honor for us.
But
we're aware of it.
Here comes the good part, because of course they saw a city in full decay, but they also saw really a do-it-yourself spirit of people who are really trying to rebuild the city they love. So
they spent some time here, obviously.
Yeah, they spent some time. They talked to the people, and everyone was really willing to put in the effort to bring the city back where it once came from. With that in mind, they had the opportunity to buy a house here for $1,000.
And tell, where is that house?
It's on 4th Street, which is in Hope Village, which is near a big organization called Focus Hope.
Very long time, well-known nonprofit here in Detroit.
And they are one of our closest partners the last couple of months.
So you're talking rough area of Detroit, Northwest Detroit, kind of like Davison and the Lodge, more or less, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a close neighborhood. A lot of people know each other. There's a school on the opposite of the road, which we work together as well with. I think it's the perfect place to start a project like this.
Joanna, let's get you involved in here. What do you do as a sustainable concept developer?
So I'm actually responsible for designing these do-it-yourself techniques, where Casper was talking about. For example, I'm working now on insulating curtains, which people can make themselves, with some reflective materials and insulating materials. And another example is secondary glazing methods. So, for example, you can use acrylic sheets on the inside of your window, and then can save a lot of energy with those methods.
Interesting. So I want to get into some of the specific, things like that you're doing. You're young. Are you fresh out of college?
Yeah, so I'm 21, and we're just finishing our bachelor's. But now we took a year off to run this organization.
So you bought this house. Tell us a little bit about the house, both when Motown Movement bought it and also now, the progress.
Yeah, so the house was kind of a mess when we bought it. There was actually nothing. Everything was rubbed out.
It's a single family home, yes?
No, it's a 2-family home.
Okay, but is it like a 2-flat, like a upper, lower unit?
Yeah, exactly. So there were a lot of things that had to be... wait. The construction was kind of good, so that was also the one of the reasons why we bought this specific house, because there was no major construction that had to be done. But there were a lot of
It's like a brick home, I think?
Yeah, it's a brick home.
Mhm.
The only thing was that the roof wasn't strong enough to carry the solar panels that will be on there. So that had to be done. New windows were placed in, double glazed windows. We made a whole community garden on the side of the house where the neighborhood can grow crops and everything. Then there was a kind of a setback because there was an arson fire in the house.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so we still don't know what actually happened, but the basement was completely ruined.
And how long ago was this?
Joanna?
I think in the summer of 2017.
Okay.
Yeah. So almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And after that, the organization paused a little time because there was no funding to repair the damage.
And this has been mostly crowdfunded. Am I correct there?
Yeah. I think like 50% is crowdfunded.
And what's the other 50%?
We have partners in our project. So the house is also going to be some kind of sustainable showcase. So companies can show in our house what they specifically do. So we have a partner in insulation. We have a partner in the windows. They all got donated. We have a partner in heating and cooling, not having to pay for material and everything.
So Joanna, you talked about the curtains, which I want to ask you more about offline. Talk about some of the other things that you guys have been doing to this home. I mean, you mentioned Casper, the community garden, which is outside of the home, obviously, but what's and solar panels on the roof. What else?
Yeah,
What
so
other sort of
it's
features?
kind of going to be an inspirational home as well, because we know that the neighbors won't get the solar panels themselves. But we implement the gray water system as well. So we use the water from the sinks and the showers to flush the toilets again. We need to push some laws in Michigan for that, but we're working on it.
Like to allow it or to make it more?
Because it's not really common to implement those in your house.
Yeah,
so
you can think you're using used water to
flush toilets and stuff.
Yeah, but there are some hygiene issues around that.
So what Casper said, we are using insulation, solar panels, a heating pump, and obviously a garden next to the house, which is already up and running. So.
Obviously, the sustainability is a huge component of this. Why does that particularly make sense in a city like Detroit, where the neighbors, as you've seen, are dealing with much more fundamental concerns about, like, you know, how am I going to put food on the table and feed my children, and how am I going to pay my bills and so forth?
Yeah, so I think there are two reasons why Detroit is a good place for this. Because first of all, the houses here are really bad, mostly. So no insulation. People do not have any knowledge about sustainability. So we can show them that you can really save a lot of money on your energy bills using really simple, like I said, do-it-yourself things. For example, even closing your door when you leave the house, or turning down the temperature when you're leaving the house. These kind of things. And another reason is because, like we previously talked about, the winters are really cold and the summers are really warm. So for a showcase, this is perfect, because if you can do it in Detroit, then you can do it everywhere in the world. So
pitching kind of the ability to save money is a big kind of component for you as marketing and everything to the neighbors. I mean, what can you talk a little bit about kind of the work that you've done? I mean, I know you said you're working with some local organizations and nonprofits, including Focus Hope, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of outreach have you done to the actual neighbors who live in that neighborhood there? Like, have you guys talked with the neighbors?
Yeah. Of course, when we first came here, we did some inspiration sessions with neighbors. So really talked with them what they wanted. And it was funny because sustainability wasn't the first thing on their list. It was more about connecting to other people, having a good conversation, give your kids a safe haven for them to play or just to learn. So that's a thing that we really implement in the house as well. So there's going to be a resource center, educational center where people can just study, play games.
So have like an
people.
educational and social components and things.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Exactly.
And I think if I saw correctly, the third floor will be living quarters for someone, right?
And the fourth as well. So
the fourth,
the third floor and the attic.
So which would be the second floor, right?
Oh, yeah, this is the US system.
yes, we have basement first and second floor.
Right? Yeah. So
that's a tall house. That brings up an interesting point. I mean, you're not natives. You're from another country, obviously, and you mentioned the gray water system and the legal issues around that. What other have you guys come up against? Any other challenges that are just sort of like lack of familiarity with local laws and things like that?
Yeah, for instance, we obviously had to drive a car here, and in the Netherlands we ride bikes.
Yeah.
And we had to deal with the car insurance as well. So that was really a big thing for us because
car insurance is a huge issue here.
Yeah,
it sounds weird, but it took us so much time.
Yeah, we all wanted to drive, and then in the end, only 3 of us were insured because otherwise it was too expensive.
Yeah. Well, we're putting in a lot of bike lanes around town.
Yeah,
but we're a long way behind the Netherlands. I mean, most countries are, frankly, though.
Yeah, but still, the distances are so big here because. To take a bike from here to the place we live, it's like 30 minutes or something.
Sure.
So, and that's even remotely close in Detroit.
What's progress like on this house? Like, where do things stand today?
All right. So, like we said, in the beginning of the year, we fixed the fire damage. That was a big thing for us because after that we could continue the construction and everything. So now we did the electrical work. We had it done by a contractor. We are going to do the plumbing work, hopefully very soon, also by contractor. Right now we're insulating the place with big insulation boards, which we're like pinning against the walls. And after insulating and plumbing the place and everything, we'll drywall everything, do some sustainable things, and then hopefully there will be a family in there in the beginning of the summer.
Fantastic. So you're close enough to finishing at least the third floor.
I mean, the plans are ambitious.
Yeah,
and that's also probably the charm of this organization. All the plans are very ambitious, but why not strive if you can?
So the roof will have solar panels. Did it also a living roof? Did I see?
Yeah.
So it'll be like both.
No. The living roof will be on the above the porch.
Oh, I see. And by living roof, explain what that means.
Yeah, so it's actually a green roof. So there are going to be plants on it to reduce
stormwater runoff.
The stormwater runoff, and on the sewage system, there's going to be less water.
Yeah, right.
So that's good, and we are also collecting it to water the garden again.
Very cool.
That's green roof. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there basically somebody from the Motown Movement at the house all the time doing work, or is it kind of intermittent? I mean, you guys have to do a lot of travel, I assume, from the Netherlands, right?
Yeah, so we've been here since February now. We'll stay here another 2 months. So yeah, that's the thing, of course, because we can't be here all year. Mm-hmm. So there's a part of the year that the project is kind of there's nothing happening there. But when there will be a family in there, so that's a really important step for us, because then there will be always be someone. And there will be some kind of social security and everything, you know. Yeah.
And do you have a family chosen?
Yeah, we're looking for it together with Focus Hope.
So what's the aim for the house? The overall goal? I mean, is this going to be just like one of a kind, and it'll serve as kind of like a model, and you know, all the other things that you talked about, or do you want to do more of them around the city or in that neighborhood or something?
Yeah, we're still thinking about this. At first, the plan was to use this as the first proof of concept, and then implement it in other neighborhoods as well. But I think we need to see first if it works, and then see if we have to implement more of these homes in Detroit, or maybe even start it in the Netherlands, because I think we can use it in the Netherlands as well. We have to think about this.
I'm sure at minimum it's going to give you great material to, you know, base a project on for school, right?
Yeah.
Back home.
Yeah, also, yeah, of course. And like Joanna said, this is our proof of concept. So if this is working good, then I think we can convince a lot of more parties to step into this project and help us on the way. Maybe in Detroit, maybe in another city in the US, maybe in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm. So you're here until for 2 more months, you said?
Yeah, it's until the beginning mid-July.
Okay. And then is that it for Detroit? You think you'll be back later on for another stint, or it just remains to be seen, huh?
Yeah, so the idea is that this project is going to be handed over every year to a new group of students. So it's kind of an internship kind of thing, where you run your own company of a business in.
Gotcha. So there'll be a new batch of Motown
next year
Movement
there will be
students.
another group working on this project.
And
hopefully finishing.
What's the name of the university that you're from in Netherlands? It's a university, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Technological University of Delft.
Delft.
Yeah. And we're partnering here with Lawrence Technical University. So hopefully there will also be some students next year from Lawrence Tech, because we only have one now. And that would be also good to have them when we are not here, so they can continue.
Yeah, we're
the project.
really searching for solutions for the the time that we're not here, because we felt that it was really harming the project when you're gone for so long.
Sure. So are you still looking for help from people, donations and
Oh yeah,
contributions?
always. So we're looking for voluntary work,
Mhm.
always. We're looking
To
for
do things such as...
gardening, helping us with construction, even maybe help us get funding or something. We're looking for materials always. For example, we're really looking for
Drywalling.
drywalling sheets.
A lot.
We're really looking for friends, always. just to hang out, just to have a conversation. I don't know.
Well, Jared and I are usually available to get a drink, and we're pretty amicable people.
Okay.
I like to think.
Yeah, I can figure.
It looks like we can catch up some friends here in Casper.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, it sounds super cool, and we'll have photos up on dailydetroit.com. But Casper van Alfen and Joanna van der Leun from the Technical University of Delft.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for dropping by and telling us about the Motown movement. Best of luck.
Thank you, Sven.
All right, thanks for that conversation, Sven. So I'll admit right here, I was kind of skeptical of this whole thing at first. Like when I saw them coming into the studio and see what it was all about, I'm like, oh, more people coming in from outside to tell me exactly what to do about my city.
Right. Detroit's starting to rack up a growing list of outsiders who come into town, with, sprinkling the fairy dust. I'm going to fix Detroit and just sort of goes bust. I mean, I'm thinking of whatever happened to Elon Musk's brother and that farm in the north end run by the University of Michigan that's gotten a lot of criticism, I know.
Yeah, there's a whole path of destruction of people coming in to try to fix everything. But I will put a big but on this because there's some big pluses to this project. First off, they're working with local organizations like Focus Hope. Now, Focus Hope has a super long track record in the city. That was actually created by Eleanor Jositis.
In the aftermath of the 67 rebellion.
And there's also others that they're working with. And I love that. That is a model that if you want to actually change things in the city, it's not that outsiders aren't welcome. It's that we have our own culture. We have our own standards. We have our own challenges that you learn when you get here. And that's they covered some of that in the interview, some of the things that surprised them when they got into it. So it's not only important from a credibility point of view, but frankly, if you're trying to do a project, working with folks that are already here, it lets you learn the lay of the land. I mean, there are things that just work differently in Detroit in myriad minor ways. And if you don't know how to go with the flow, you don't know how to do the dance, you will tear your hair out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, friends, that'll do it for today's episode. Hope you liked it. And as always, thanks for listening.
If you do, in fact, like our show and want to help ensure that we're able to continue pushing Detroit's conversation forward, consider becoming a Patreon member. For as little as $1 a month, you'll get stickers and other perks of being a member, plus the satisfaction of helping support the content you love. Visit patreon.com/dailydetroit. I'm Jer Staves.
And I'm Sven Gustafson. Until next time, take care of each other, and we'll see you around Detroit.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.